Were it possible to travel in time and space, we would see the events and dreams that torment nations and people. We could pinpoint where their identities and civilizations come from. In order to investigate the dilemmas of legends and dreams where a nation, a culture, and a civilization is conceived, we must explore their birthplace. Situated in a peninsula where it looks like nature is cradling the city in its lap, Butrint speaks its own language, magical in its landscape, and mysterious in its history and events.
Everyone needs legends, and Butrint is full of them. The city here was founded just for Butrint, but for the whole Roman world itself.
I saw before me Troy in miniature, a slender copy of our massive tower, a dry brooklet named Xanthus, and I pressed my body against a Scian gate. Virgil speaks about the city as if it were the new Troy.
The city's foundation legend has either Neoptolemus, the son of Achilles, or Helenus, the son of King Priam, sailing along the coastline of Epirus and trying to sacrifice a bull on his ship. The bull escaped, and where it swam ashore and died, that's where the city was founded. But the man who really counted in this story was Aeneas, the refugee Trojan. Virgil writes about him in his great poem. Aeneas came here with a little group of refugees and found an already existing Trojan colony under the rulership of King Helenus. It was one of those places where Aeneas was presented with a choice. His destiny lay before him. He could stay or he could leave, and he chose to leave and found the Roman race across the Adriatic in Italy.
The history of Butrint is often a reality mixed in legends. As told by Virgil, life in the city began around 1150 BC, but its first inhabitants settled there a long time before Butrint became the famed city. They were attracted by the great variety of food sources in the area. They built a settlement in the small idyllic hill with a very rich habitat. Enclosed by a stone wall and without any contact with the Greek world, the first inhabitants of Butrint could not have known whether Troy or Homer existed. The village continued this isolated life until the 7th century BC, when the Corinthian colony of Corcyra was founded on the island across its shores. Shortly after, around 750 BC, a group of the Hellenic colonizers settled in Butrint to create a kind of barter market to serve the needs of the mainland inhabitants, the Chaonians, which later were called Epirotes. Oh, dear Butrint, those were the times. how much joy I felt in your theater, not only during shows, celebrations, or slave liberation ceremonies, but I can't forget that here, rich merchants bought goods for more than face value and donated the difference to be used for the good of the city.
Asclepius was a healing god, a god of life, and so it was appropriate that this theatre was one of the scenes for a great ceremony of rebirth, the freeing of slaves, the freeing of an underclass, and bringing them into a wider community. The people of Butrint came here to observe these ceremonies, and they left us a great document in the form of inscriptions that cover the walls of the theatre. The inscriptions tell us about the slaves who were freed here, adopted into their families. If you were under the control of a good master or good mistress, it is likely that you would have found yourself being freed and adopted into the wider family and becoming effectively a member of the citizen body of the town.
Ky vend teatri sintetizon pjesën më të bukur të historisë së prasaibëve, të qendrës së Butrotasve antik. U krijuar në vendin e faltorës vjetër të Asklepit, në mesin e shekullit të tretë, me njerë pas fitoreve të mëdha të Piros në Italinë e Jugut, që sollën pasuri në këtë pjesë të Epirit. Lulëzoi gjatë shekullit të tretë dhe dytë jo vetëm si qendër e shfaqjeve teatrale, po dhe mbledhjeve të komunitetit prasaibëve, dhe ishte pikërisht këtu ku luajt drama e Butrotasve kur humbën lirinë pasaj në vitin 44 me një vendim Cezarit që donte t'i shpronsonte, me letrat që i dërgonin Pomponatikut, ishte një vilë jo shumë larg nga ky vend, dhe me ndërhyrjet e Ciceronit famshëm që i lejuan këtë liri të zgjatet deri në rreth vitit 30, kur Augusti mori vendimin përfundimtar për vendosjen e kolonisë romake.
The Romans brought with them their construction technique and aesthetic. They built in Butrint some of their most magnificent works in the Mediterranean. The aqueduct, Roman baths, and beautiful harbors demonstrate that the city had the highest level of urban organization. At this point in time, Butrint is without any doubt a sophisticated urban center and an active decision-making population.